Mr. Lee was 78 when his doctor told him something that stung more than any diagnosis. "You're not sick," the doctor said. "You're just living wrong for your age." Lee had laughed at first, thinking it was a joke, but the doctor's face was serious. "You want to stay healthy? Then stop doing 5 things that are quietly destroying you." That night, as rain tapped against his window, Lee realized how true those words were, because he had been doing every one of them. The first thing he had to stop was pretending to be strong all the time. For years, Lee carried his pride like armor. He refused help with groceries, climbed ladders to fix the roof, and brushed off his daughter's concern whenever he felt pain. "I'm fine," he always said, even when his knees trembled. But one morning, while reaching for a heavy box, he slipped and fell hard on his hip. The pain shot through him like fire. Lying there, unable to move, he finally understood. Age isn't a battle to win by force. It's a balance to protect with humility. Since then, when his grandson offered a hand, he took it. When he felt tired, he rested. Accepting help didn't make him weaker. It kept him alive. The second thing he stopped doing was skipping meals out of habit. For a long time, Lee ate only twice a day, thinking it was enough for an old man. He skipped breakfast, saying his appetite was gone, and sometimes forgot dinner when he felt lazy. But skipping meals made his energy crash, his blood sugar swing, and his memory fade. The doctor explained that seniors need steady nutrition, even if in small amounts. "You don't need more food," he said. "You need more consistency." Now, Lee starts every day with a small bowl of oatmeal, fruit, and tea. He eats light lunches and soups for dinner. His strength returned, and even his mood lifted. He realized starving himself of food was like starving himself of life. The third mistake he had to stop was sitting all day. Retirement had made him comfortable, maybe too comfortable. He spent hours watching television or scrolling through his phone, promising he'd move later. But later never came. His legs weakened, his back stiffened, and climbing stairs became a struggle. When the doctor asked him to stand on one leg, he couldn't last 5 seconds. "That's how falls happen," the doctor warned. "You don't lose balance suddenly. You lose it slowly while sitting." So Lee started moving again, not running or lifting weights, but walking around the yard, stretching every morning, doing 10 squats by the table. Each step reminded him that movement wasn't punishment. It was permission to keep living. The fourth thing he stopped was dwelling on the past. It was his worst habit. Every night, he'd lie awake replaying old regrets, the job he quit, the words he never said to his late wife, the chances he missed. He carried guilt like a stone in his chest. But one evening, his granddaughter asked him, "Grandpa, why do you always look sad when it's quiet?" He didn't know how to answer. Later, he opened his old photo album and realized something. The past didn't need to be erased or relived, just blessed and released. Now, when he looks at those same photos, he smiles instead of sighing. "Thank you," he whispers to the memories. "You made me who I am." Peace replaced his pain, and for the first time in years, he slept without the weight of yesterday. The fifth thing he stopped was surrounding himself with negativity. After retirement, many of his old friends had turned bitter, complaining about politics, money, illness, or ungrateful children. Their conversations drained him. He'd go home heavy-hearted after every gathering. One day, he realized that his health was being poisoned not just by food or stress, but by words. So he chose distance. He still cared for them, but he spent more time with people who laughed, gardened, and talked about things that grew instead of things that died. He joined a small reading club, started writing letters, and even took up painting again. Positivity became his medicine, and his mind began to heal as his world brightened. Months passed, and when Lee visited the doctor again, his results were better than expected. Blood pressure steady, sleep improved, and no more dizzy spells. The doctor smiled. "So, Mr. Lee," he said, "what did you change?" Lee chuckled. I stopped living like I was still young and started living like I was still alive. Now, every morning, he opens his window and lets the light in before anything else. He stretches, hums an old song, and thanks his body for another day. He doesn't chase youth anymore. He protects what remains of it. He knows the truth now. In your senior years, survival isn't about adding more things to your life. It's about removing what quietly destroys you: pride, neglect, stillness, regret, and bitterness. Because when you stop doing those five things, something miraculous happens. Life doesn't end. It begins again, softer, slower, but more beautiful than ever before.